Shalom, Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the head apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to brothers on the highways and byways, doing the works sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are found in that number to be delivered. All right. So I believe I'm going to entitle this The Line of Confusion. All right. The Line of Confusion. Now, this is coming from the book of Isaiah chapter 34, verse 11, right? And you don't hear anybody talking about the line of confusion but the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right? In all reality, the line of confusion is very important to understand and know, because it has to do with the destruction of Babylon the Great and the aftermath of what's to come. Right? You have not heard any preacher, pastor, Christian, nobody but the servants of the Lord. All right, so we're going to start with Isaiah 34 and 11, but we're going to bounce back to it, but get into other scriptures that justify why the line of confusion is what it is. All right, so starting at 11, it says, "But the cormorant and the bitterant shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness." All right. So we're talking about the condition of a place. So let's find out what that place is. And let's find out again why it is known as the line of confusion. All right. So we're going to come back to Isaiah chapter 34, because now we're going to identify through Isaiah chapter 34 who this is talking about. All right. So let's go from there. Let's go to Joel chapter 2. And it says, "A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them." All right. So now we're going to examine, this fire. We're going to examine why Isaiah 34 and 11 is known as the line of confusion. So let's examine this a little bit. So when the scriptures speak about a fire devoureth before them, now we hear of the hopeful elect. We've always gone into this throughout the years. All right. But more so now, because the time is much more closer. The time is at hand. So for those who don't understand, and for those who never knew, so now, Lord willing, you'll get some understanding, and you'll get the imagery, if you will, of what this is all talking about. So let's break down Joel chapter 3 a little bit. Shilaki, break down Joel chapter 2, verse 3. All right. It says, a fire devoureth before them. So we're going to go down here to these nuclear missiles, right? So what we're looking at here is nuclear warheads. All right. And these nuclear warheads are what's on this instrument that has the fire that devours before them, and the flame that burneth behind them. All right. So you can clearly see, we'll use this picture right here. You see that flame that's behind them? That's the working of the thruster that's going to propel these thermonuclear missiles from one end of the earth into the other. That's how it's going to be sent, across the world, if you will. All right. So real quick, let's go back. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. Right? So why is it mentioning the fire that devoureth before them? So let's go back here. What you see on this table here are nuclear missile warheads, right? This is the fire that's going to devour. These are what's encapsulated inside the head of the thermonuclear missile itself. All right. So let's go back. As you see another one there. So these are all the warheads inside of that thermonuclear missile. So you can get a better understanding or better visual. Here you have it. You see? So you'll have multiple warheads within inside of a warhead. And this is what it's talking about when it says, a flame devoureth before them. This is what's going to cause that flame, that fire, that nuclear fire, these warheads. So this was the vision that Joel was talking about. All right. So and as we scroll down, looking again, now you can get the gist of the whole image. Okay. As you see the arrow pointing to the warhead, all right, which most of these warheads have multiple independent warheads inside of one warhead. And you see that flame that's burning behind it is what's going to propel or thrust these thermonuclear ICBM missiles across the world. All right. So let's go back to Joel chapter 2, verse 3. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. All right. Now that you get the understanding of what that's talking about, let's read on. It says, the land is as the Garden of Eden before them. Now, why would the land be as the Garden of Eden? Because once these things get launched, and as they propel through the atmosphere, and before they come down, you know, it's a beautiful place. The locations or the targets of where these things are going to hit, before they hit them, is probably a national park, beautiful springs, waters, flowers. And this is what it's talking about when it says, before them, it's like the Garden of Eden. And it says, and behind them, a desolate wilderness. Because after the contact, or after the ground zero detonation, if you will, everything's going to be burnt up. All right. And it says, yea, and nothing shall escape them. All right. So one would probably say, well, what the hell does that have to do with the line of confusion? So let's go here. All right. This is United States of America. And as you see, the states can be quickly and clearly identified. Their location, their angles. You can see all this. Right. So now this would be before the missiles hit. Right. And after a desolate wilderness, this is what you can also consider the line of confusion. Because after the thermonuclears hit the earth, you're not going to be able to tell where one state begins and one state ends, as what we're looking at this image of United States of America. All right. So the book of Isaiah chapter 34, when it explains about this line of confusion, in the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 3, these go hand in hand. All right. And these are all future prophecies that hasn't happened yet. All right. So it's important to have understanding of these scriptures, especially these scriptures that are in the Old Testament. Because in today's world, nobody likes to read the Old Testament. In today's world, the Old Testament has been done away with, and all has been fulfilled according to the ways of this world. All right. But here we're clearly showing you that Isaiah chapter 34 is a future prophecy. We're showing you Joel chapter 2 is a future prophecy. Hasn't happened yet. Why? Because we're still here. We're still dwelling in Babylon, America. We're still dwelling here. If brothers go to a different state, you can see exactly where they're going, what state it is, the name of the state. right? So these things are important, especially for the time that we're living in, because all you're hearing now is these nations gearing up, preparing themselves for war, preparing themselves for nuclear conflict, for nuclear war, rumors about war, rumors about missiles, countries trying to sanction other countries for having nuclear capabilities. This is the talk of the town, man. Nuclear destruction, nuclear fire. This is the talk. All right, give me 1 second. Salakia. All right. So again, we're gonna come back to Isaiah 34 because I want to, get out and break down who this is talking about. Let's go to Jeremiah 50 and 12. It says, "Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness and a dry land and a desert." All right. So again, Jeremiah chapter 50 has a lot of information in it that a lot of you Christians and you so-called pastors totally look over. Don't even look into. All right. But again, it involves the coming destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America. All right. So let's start with Jeremiah 50 and 12. Let's go with "Your mother shall be sore confounded." Now, who is that talking about? Jeremiah's mother? One would tell you, yeah, that's Jeremiah's mother. But let's get into it. Let's break it down. All right. So here we have got this. Right. So just a quick AI overview. And the question was, is Britain known as the mother of America? And the overview answer is this: yes. Great Britain, specifically England, is often referred to as the mother country in relation to United States of America. All right. So when you read that in Jeremiah 50, it's talking about Britain in reference to United States of America, aka Babylon. All right. AKA the place of destruction. All right. And it says, particularly in the historical context of American colonies. This is because the 13 American colonies were initially established and governed by Great Britain. All right. So now you read Jeremiah 50 and 12, "Your mother shall be sore confounded." Right? That's talking about Britain's going to be confounded because the whole essence of America is based out of the foundation of Britain. All right, Great Britain. All right. And it says, "She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness and a dry land and a desert." And this is exactly what we're talking about. All right. That line of confusion, wilderness and a desert. You ever look out into a desert land? You can't, the sand is all the same. There's nothing distinguishing whether or not you've reached, this location or that location. In today's world, you can drive down the road and you can see a sign that says, entering, Edomville, entering Moabville. You can see signs of different cities where you're now entering in. But if you're in the desert somewhere, right, there's nothing that's distinguishing that. And this is why we're going back to that wilderness, that dry land, and that desert, because this is what is going to end up becoming of America: a dry land and a desolate wilderness. Okay, so let's go here. All right. So in memory of 4th of July, the question is, Why does America celebrate 4th of July? Okay? It says the 4th of July or Independence Day is celebrated in United States to commemorate the Declaration of Independence, which was adopted by the Continental Congress on July 4th, 1776. This document declared that the 13 American colonies independent from Great Britain, making the birth of the United States as a sovereign nation. All right? So this is why they gained their independence from Great Britain. So it all adds up. This is why you got to use the scripture as that filter. Esau puts it out there, but Esau doesn't filter it through the scriptures. He don't want you to know that these things are written in the scriptures. He doesn't want you to figure these things out, because the more he can deceive the people, the less the people believe in the power, the holy power. They'll believe on Esau, Edom, in their power structure. All right. So let's return back. So read Jeremiah 50 again. It says, your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. All right. And America is that hindermost of the nations. All right. Let me see here. Yeah, shit looks crazy. All right. So America is that hindermost. All right. So here it is. It's all one. This whole area is known as the North American, territory, if you will, or Northern Territory. All right. So let's continue on. This is Malachi 4:1. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. All right. Where is that talking about? That day that's going to burn as an oven, as we've been explaining, is known as America. This is where that fire is coming. This is where these things are going to take place. So, and to keep it in line with Isaiah 34, that line of confusion, it says there's nothing that's going to dwell over here. It's going to leave them neither root nor branch. So in other words, everything's going to be dissolved. Everything's going to be gone. You're not going to be able to tell what's what. That line of confusion. All right. But as we continually read the verses and the scriptures that we're reading, it all involves fire. It all involves something being burned up. An instrument that's going to burn this place up. An arrow, if you will. The warheads, if you will. All right. And this is how America is going to be destroyed. By fire. By burning. Right. This is what's in store. Now, I'll say this. We, the servants and the hopeful elect, servants of the Lord, starting from our head apostles and bishops and elders and the brothers who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity, you don't have to believe us now, because you can go to ChatGPT and he's going to tell you exactly what we've been prophesying before ChatGPT was even, a thing. All right. So that should put a thought in your minds. Well, damn, if this system that we have no control over, when I mean we, I'm talking about the men of Great Millstone, because we're the only ones out there who are steadily and sincerely, speaking this truth, we don't have control over ChatGPT. We don't have the ability to input information in there and critique it as one would think, the way that we want it to be, delivered. This is out of our hands. So when you go and use that app, if you will, when you use it and you ask these certain questions, you ask the questions of the things that we have been telling you for all these years, and you get those very same responses that we have been giving you. What are you going to say then, man? What do you have to say? And this is why, we praise Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for all that is being done and all that the Lord has given us. All right. Especially with this internet. Right. The Lord created this internet for this specific reason as we speak these words today, to publish this word throughout the four corners of the earth. This is why the internet was created. It wasn't created to go shopping on Amazon. It wasn't created for you podcasters. You are a facet of it. But the main purpose, I believe, was that the Lord can push this word out. Because you think about the prophets of old, all right, when they were sent away, being apostles, they had to travel horseback, on foot, for miles here and there and everywhere. Now, what the Lord has done with the internet, He accelerated the teaching process or the reaching out process in the gathering process. He accelerated it because did not He say He was going to have to shorten the time? So this process got accelerated by the means of the ability to teach this word on to the world, to the Israelites, via the internet. Because now it's at the click of a button, And the Lord even sped it up even faster and made it much more convenient for us, because now you can go live. Okay? So again, this is all a part of that shortening of the days. All right? Shortening of the days doesn't mean prophecies weren't going to be fulfilled. It means prophecies are going to speed up. Things are going to start happening much faster, which they are. All right? So here we go. All praise to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai for giving us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and selecting us to be a part of His ministry. All right? This is 2 Ezra 16. And where should we start? I'll start at 11. But again, it all goes to that line of confusion. All right? And how this line of confusion is going to come about. And as we've been reading, it's going to come by means of those thermonuclear missiles. All right? Verse 11. This whole chapter is beautiful, because it's right in line with what we're seeing today. I'll start at 12. It says, the earth quaketh in the foundation thereof. The sea arises up with the waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of His power. For strong is His right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that He shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth, ends of the world. All right. So again, these arrows that we're referring to here in 2 Ezra 16 are going to be those instruments that are going to destroy Babylon the Great. That's going to cause that line of confusion. Okay. 14. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Now that goes hand in hand with the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. All right. So if you read this and understand this, it says For strong is the right hand, the bend of the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. And what's going to happen when they come upon the earth? Because it says what in Joel? When they come upon the earth, it's going to be a desolate wilderness. Verse 15, the fire is kindled, and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. All right? You Christians, you churchgoers, you so-called theologians, you so-called biblical scholars, you ain't putting this thing together like it should be put together, man. And we brag not, but we brag in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, because it's his work, it's his doing that we have obtained these mysteries and in this understanding. But how beautiful it is to hear and understand how intricately the Lord has put this together, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. You see? This is the beauty of being, in the spirit being upon you to understand these things and how to deliver and give this word to the hope for the elect and for those who have ears to hear. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. All right. And the consumption is going to be here in America. America is going to be utterly consumed with fire. As you read in Malachi, it's going to be consumed with fire. 16. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer. Now, when you get the just understanding of a mighty archer, a mighty archer is somebody that's been in that craft for a very long time and can shoot, hit the center bullseye every single time he releases that bow out of his hand. Can hit it exactly right in the middle. All right. That's what a mighty archer is capable of doing. All right. And likewise, these thermonuclear missiles, with all the modern technology, they can pinpoint and precisely drop a nuclear missile right down to the damn, to the inch in a designated target, man. And if you think about that, when you think that a missile is coming from over 3,500, 5,000, 6,000 miles away, and to come within an inch of its target, come on, man, come on. That's what you would call a mighty expert man. All right, a mighty archer. 16 again, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. All right. So this is what it's all about. This is why Isaiah 34 talks about the line of confusion. All right. So let's jump back to Isaiah 34, right? And open it up. Now, we understand about the line of confusion and how it's going to happen. All right. But let's see who it's going to happen to. All right. So let's jump down to verse 5. It says, matter of fact, I'll start at 4. And it says, and all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together like a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, upon the people of my curse to judgment. Idumea is also known as Edom, Esau. All right. So what we're reading here in Isaiah 34 about that line of confusion. Now, isn't Trump in these go-getters, make America great again, take it back and make it great? Who's saying that? Whose slogan is that? That's Esau Edom's slogan. But the Lord says, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So again, you want to claim this place? Be our guest. Take it back. Set it up. Make it great again for yourselves. Because what? The Lord's going to destroy it and destroy you. All right? And again, for all you non-believers, if you don't want to believe us, just go Google ChatGPT. He's going to tell you that Idumea is Edom. They're going to tell you that. Which was known to be a place of future judgment. All right? So when it talks about that sword, being bathed in heaven, that's them thermonuclear missiles coming from one end of the earth unto the other. Verse 6. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with blood of lambs and of goats, with the fat of the kidneys of the rams. For the Lord have a sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. America is now known as the modern day Idumea, the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, the modern day Egypt, the modern day Bozrah. This is America. Because you can't go anywhere in history, all right, nor in the scriptures, to see if the land of Edom, the land of Idumea, has been destroyed with fire. It hasn't happened. All right? It has not happened. So let's continue on. It says, the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof unto brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. And again, thermonuclear destruction. This is what's coming. All right. Continuing on, it says, and it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever from generation to generation. It is, let me scroll down. It is lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. That's Babylon the Great. That's America. All right. This Esau likes to run around and talk about, you Puerto Ricans go back to your own country. You black people go back to Africa, because they consider this their land. Right? Well, Isaiah considers it your land as well. And through the spirit and prophecies, the Lord said he's going to come down upon Idumea. Make America great again. Take it back. So you're going to get your just reward, man. You're going to get your just reward. Continuing on. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. All right? Coming full circle to what we started off with this lesson. That line of confusion is talking about America. No other place. All right? Now, will there be thermonuclear missiles hitting in different regions? Absolutely. But the only place that's going to be utterly wiped off the face of the earth is America. The stones of emptiness. There's going to be nothing here. All right? That's it. And it says, they shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom, but none shall be there. And all her princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in her places, nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof. and it shall be an habitation of dragons and a court for owls. Wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the satree shall cry in his fellows, and stretch owls also shall rest there, and find for herself a place of rest. All right. So also, when you go to Revelation 18, it's reiterating this very same language here about doleful creatures dwelling there. It's not going to be inhabited no more. America. And this is what we prophesy about. We prophesy the downfall of this place known as Babylon the Great. All right. So all that being said, Lord willing, it was edifying. This is that place that's going to see that line of confusion, which is going to be emptiness, desert, no landmarks, no statues, no monuments, all right, no graven images. Nothing's going to be left to know that Esau, Edom was over here. All right, so with that, I'm going to say shalom.